Greetings, family. It's Empress D, obviously in nature. I got a mosquito bite on my head and it's swollen up like I'm a Klingon. I just thought I'd bring that to your attention, family. I hope everybody's well. I hope everybody's obviously getting out in nature and leveling up and improving themselves every day. Now, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is it's kind of a tough topic, but something that I think that needs to be brought to our attention for those of us that haven't heard about this already. But I think I've shared that I follow a lot of physicians or subscribe to a lot of physicians on YouTube, particularly ones that go over research studies, right? Now, one of the I think this one that's out of the UK is actually a nurse. He's a PhD, but he's a nurse, and he has a large platform. I think in the millions. I think is Campbell, Dr. Campbell, on YouTube. He is one of the guys I subscribe to, and he was going over. And he's done it a few times, and there's some others that I listen to as well that have spoken about the fact that there are so many excess deaths on the planet right now. In most of the so-called first world countries, we are seeing more deaths than usual, okay? And now how they look at the usual is they take a 5-year average, right? So we are in 2022, so they would have gone back as far as 2017 and looked at the amount of deaths, the average deaths of all those years, right? You add it up, divided by 5, and then that's your average expected death rate, right? What they're finding in most first world countries is that the excess death rate is increased by a significant amount, okay? And keep in mind, these current numbers are being compared to the 5-year average. Wherein, remember, we had a pandemic where lots of people died, right? So the 5-year average is going to be higher than normal because we are counting all of those deaths that happened during the acute phase of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? So in the last 5 years, we've had on average more deaths than we've had before that, right? Given the fact that we were living in a pandemic. Even though the last 5-year average of deaths is higher than normal, we're finding that people now are dying at a higher rate than the last 5-year average of normal, right? So that's a significant amount of excess deaths we are seeing. We're not only seeing these excess deaths among the elderly, we're seeing this amongst all age groups, family, from 0 to 150, okay? All age groups, there's excess deaths. Acts more than we would expect than normal, even with an inflated average, given the fact that we've just coming out of a pandemic. This is alarming, family. We are dying quickly. And that's what these numbers are saying, right? The thing is, you don't hear about this stuff on the news. You don't hear about this stuff on the news. And I wonder why, right? It's not because the news doesn't want to alarm you and scare you. That's all the news does all day. They talk about all the scary things to be scared of, but they don't want to bring attention to this. The thing is that as citizens of these countries, of these first world countries, we deserve answers, right? We should be entitled to answers as to why, what is happening. Is there an investigation into this? Why are we dying at a higher clip, at a faster clip? What is going on, family? So there is some speculation as to why. Of course, they kind of primed us to this during the pandemic, saying that, because during the pandemic, so many services were shut down and closed, that a lot of people didn't keep up on their regular health screening. And as a result, we're going to see an increase in cancers, okay? They said that early on in the pandemic. They also said early on in the pandemic, we may see, as a result of this pandemic and the lockdowns, an increase in mental health challenges. Okay? So they predicted that. Now, I haven't seen the breakdown of the numbers as to cause of death, but that's something that I'm going to look into. I know, just anecdotally in speaking to people, I don't know if I've shared with you, family, but I went to a funeral where I spoke to the pastor that performed the service, and I was just talking to him afterwards, and he shared with me that he has never been so busy in doing funerals, right? He's had to do up to 3 a day. He also revealed to me a lot of young people you wouldn't expect to be dying, as well as many suicides, okay? And of course, this is not a study. I did not do any research. This is just an anecdotal conversation with a pastor who's exposed to this, who's exposed to the death that's happening, right? Family, that's when I said wake up, that's what I mean to. Wake up to the fact that there's something weird going on around us, okay? A lot of conspiracy theories, I know they labeled it misinformation, and that there was an agenda to decrease the population. The thing is, it's hardly a conspiracy theory when it's written on your guide stones. Remember the Georgia guidestones that blew up a few months ago? Mysteriously, it was written on there to decrease the world population to under 500 million people, right? Right now we're like at almost 8 billion, or even more than 8 billion according to some sources, right? How are we going to go down to 500 million? That's a lot of people have to go somewhere, right? And now that we see that there's an acceleration in excess deaths in first world countries, what is going on? What is going on, family? You would think that this same individual that I was watching on YouTube was explaining how, and it was presenting the statistics in that in most of these developed countries, the COVID deaths are going down. So these deaths are not related to COVID. I forgot to add that, because that's super significant. This is all cause mortality, right? So it has to do with every reason as to why people die. And COVID is a very small part of it, because the COVID deaths are going down steadily, right? And so family, what is going on? Why are we dying at a fast clip, right? Especially when we've just survived a pandemic. We're hopefully at a lull in the pandemic, where deaths are going down, infection numbers are going down, hospitalization rates are going down, all of these numbers are going down, yet all-cause mortality, we are dying across age groups at a higher clip. Help me to understand, family. Help me to understand what's going on around me, around us. I've kind of developed an understanding as to what I think is going on, but that's my personal view. And what I encourage everybody else to do is to actually have a stance, have a point of view, do a little bit of research beyond what they present to you on your news feed, on your phone, or in the news, right? Let's dig a little deeper and see if what they're saying adds up, because we are dying, family, in the developed world, okay? We are dying. We're dying at a fast rate. So, family, that's something that should be concerning, right? And something to be researching about and asking questions about. But when I look around, and it's not very many that are asking questions about this, okay, family? I encourage you to. I encourage everybody to wake up and look around you. Ask questions. Figure out what's going on. Figure out what's going on around you. One of the reasons why I do this is because I know myself, right? And I'm on that journey to knowing myself. I've gone through the different stages where, you start to question things more and more. And I'm at the point where I can't do anything that doesn't make sense. I can't just go along to get along. It has to serve me and be in the best interest of my family and myself for me to do it. And if it's not, I will not do it. Okay, family? And it's not just me being stubborn. I physically cannot bring myself to do certain things. And I spoke about that the other day, right? Anyway, I wish for all of you that you're out in nature and enjoying the beautiful weather wherever you're at. And I hope that you're all starting that journey within, okay? To going within. All right, family? Anyway, thank you for taking the time to listen to the message. I love and I value each and every one of you. One love.